Hey guys, my name's Adam from White Duck Outdoors, and we're going to show you today how to set up a 13-foot regatta. So before you unroll the tent, this would be a really good time to lay down the additional ground tarp. It is an accessory that we have, and really the nice thing about this is you put it underneath the tent, so when the tent is maybe wet or dirty and you're trying to pack it up to take it home, this prevents that from happening. So this is the bag that the Regatta 13 comes in. All the Regattas come in a bag very similar to this. And if you open up the zipper, it'll show you all of the things that come inside. But one of the nice things about this style is the bag is oversized, as you can tell. So it's plenty of space. Even if you don't pack it up this tight, when you're trying to pack it up again, it's easy to fit it back inside the bag. You'll notice that here's the tent canvas, it's all rolled up. And then there's another separate bag with the poles, which is also labeled here on the front of the bag. And then in addition to it, we have a separate toolkit that you use to set up the tent as well. One of the nice things that we do with this is we actually give you these straps here that you can clip. So even if you don't make it as tight as this when you're trying to pack it back up, you can clip it and cinch it down so it still shrinks it a little bit, which makes it a lot easier to fit into the bag. The next step after you've rolled it out is to locate the front door. You want to make sure that you have the right views and the right angle that you have. So walk around and try and find where the front door zipper is. You can notice that there's these Velcro sections here with the front door zipper, and make sure that you rotate it to fit exactly the angle that you want it to be. Next step is to get the toolkit. I'll show you everything that comes in it. So you unclip it, you unroll with the little Velcro straps here. And there's three components that come in the toolkit. The first one is going to be the mallet. So we give you everything you need to be able to set it up from day one. You don't need to get anything else. The second component is going to be pins. The pins are going to be for the base of the tent with the little bungees. I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. And then the last piece is going to be the bent rebar stakes. As you can tell, very heavy duty. We use these for the guy lines to be able to hold it into the ground. So you're going to take the pins out. And one of the tricks to making sure you do the ground sheet right is you want to start on one side, but then similar to a star formation, you start here and then you go to the other side and then get the corners, and think of just doing it in a star formation. You really want to make sure you can pull and have enough tension throughout the tent. So as you notice on the bottom here, we give you a bungee system. And part of what the bungees is it's a shock absorber. So for heavy winds, there's a little bit of flex here. So what you do is you just take the stake, put it in. Don't be scared to pull it a few inches away and really create a lot of tension here. And you'll be able to see it on the other side when we really tighten it. So you push it down. So now that we've staked one into the ground, we go to the opposite side. And don't be scared to pull this pretty tight. And the reason why you would want to do this is when you finally walk inside the tent, it makes the ground sheet not crinkly or not wrinkled up. And so it really makes it taut here. So you hit this one into the ground, and after I do this, you just repeat this process all the way around. The next step is going to be grab the pole bag. So inside this, there'll be 2 total poles. As you can tell, there's a chain link in the middle, so it's really easy to be able to attach together. This one is going to be for the center pole, and the last one is going to be for the front door pole. This one is for the front door pole. As you can notice, chain link in the middle, really easy to snap together. So now we can start setting it up. So next step in the process is you take the front door pole and you take the center pole, you put them together. And now you're going to lay this aside and you're going to locate the front door again, and you're going to unzip the front door. There'll be 2 layers. There'll be a canvas layer on the outside and there'll be a bug mesh layer, so make sure to unzip both of them, because the next step is we're going to crawl inside with the center pole and pop it up. Now that the front door is open, the next step is going to be to get the center pole. Now one thing to note about this is there's a D-ring on one side of it. So you want to make sure that the D-ring is going to be at the top. This is something where you can hang lanterns, you can hang clothes, you can hang anything that you want to customize and make it feel a little bit more at home for you. And make sure that's the one that you head into the tent, because we're going to pop it up from this angle. So now you open it up and you crawl inside of it. So next step is you're going to take this rubber end, find the middle pocket. This is where the end is going to go into. It's surrounded by all of these vents, so that's kind of a key point that you can try and find to help locate it. You're going to put this in the end, and now all you're going to do is push up on the pole. As you're pushing it into the pole, one thing you'll notice is we do actually label where the pole is supposed to stand. So next step is to take the front door pole and locate, there will be a grommet on the top. The grommet is on the inside of the zippers. So you locate it, you poke it through, and then you push it up and take the rain cap and put this back on. If you don't have the rain cap, all that means is when it rains, some liquid and water can get through the grommet. So you want to make sure you put that on to make it fully water repellent and no water can get in. Other things you'll notice about the front door pole is it is supposed to be about 6 to 8 inches from the front. So it's not supposed to be on the outside of the tent, it's not supposed to be right on the edge, it is supposed to go fully vertical. The next step, and this is actually a really important step that some people make mistakes on, is you do want to now fully zip the tent back up. And the reason why you do this is the last step is to guy line it back. And if you're trying to create tension on the tent while the door is open, after you create the tension, it's almost impossible to fully zip it again. So you want to make sure that this is zipped both down and on the sides, so that once you create the tension and guy line it back, you can zip the door back again. So next step is we're going to guy line it back. One thing you'll need to do is go through and unravel these. This is a knot that it comes in. The easiest way to do it is feed the knot through this hole. And now you can unravel each guy line all the way around. So now that we have all of the ropes untangled, we're gonna start with the front door pole. And really what that's gonna do is it's gonna help keep this pole up so it doesn't fall backwards. And this is our anchor point, and then we're gonna go through all the rest of them and guy line them back. So after you've staked it into the ground, you wanna take the loop at the end and loop it around. You can make sure that they're on it. Don't tighten it fully yet. You need to make sure that they're all in the ground before you guy line and tension the entire tent back. If not, it's gonna sway to one side or another. So similar to how we did the pins in the very beginning, you also want to do it in a similar star formation. And so I'm going to start on the back here. And one trick that you need to make sure that you have to really have the perfect bell tent shape, there's two factors to it. The first factor is there's a seam that runs from the peak of the tent all the way down to this corner. There's this seam here. And what you want to make sure that you do is you follow the seam in a perfectly straight line. You can also see the seam here on the side, if that makes it easier to follow, but you want to make sure that you pull it straight. If you pull it to the left or to the right, it'll make the side of the tent twist and it won't be as vertical and it won't be as perfect and straight. The second trick to make sure you do is to follow the slope angle of the tent. So what that means is the slope angle, if it's going at roughly 45-degree angle, you want to follow that angle down to the ground, which tends to be around 6 to 8 feet away from the bell tent. So outside of following the seams in a perfectly straight line, two other things to make sure that you do is you can start with leaving the guy lines loose. You want to do that because if you stake this one into the ground and tension it back, it'll be really hard to stake the other one on the opposite side. So make sure that they're loose, and then after they're all in the ground, then we'll go back and guy line the entire thing. The last trick to make sure that you do is all the stakes need to be roughly the same distance away from the tent at the same time. You'll accomplish that if you do follow the slope angle of the tent, but once again, they should all look like they're the same distance away from the tent, roughly 6 to 8 feet. Okay, now that you have all of the guy lines attached to the stakes on the outside, this is the last step and the most fun step. You get to tighten it and see the bell tent come to life. There's a metal tensioner here, and all you do is you turn it vertically, you pull until you feel the tension, and then you turn it horizontal. And when you turn it horizontal, that locks it into this position. So it's gonna be really difficult for wind or anything to make it loosen up over time. Turn it vertical, then turn it horizontal to lock it in. And you do that for all of them. Now that we have the tent set up, I'm gonna roll up the door so we can check out and see what it looks like.